Hi, this is David, and I thought I would be fair today. Not that I've been unfair other days, but if somebody has nothing good to say about something, or if you hate Chevrolets and there's just not one good thing about Chevrolets, I tend to believe that person's a little prejudiced, a little biased, and maybe a little crazy. I've spent a lot of my time and videos on the hurtful things on the Mormon cult. What I want to do today is I want to say some good things about the Mormon cult. And like I've said before, I've been in it over 50 years. I resigned. I wasn't excommunicated. I wasn't hurt my feelings. I just looked at the doctrine and read the Book of Mormon and found it to be fraudulent. So let me be somewhat fair and say that not everything in the Mormon Church is terrible, terrible, terrible. And when I say these things, I'm going to kind of compare the positives and the negatives. So let me start. First of all, if you're young, a family young, you're 19, 22, 25 years old, and you're just married and you're getting started in life, the Mormon Church gives you that empty nest syndrome, which usually happens later in life. But in our young marriage years, we've lost our friends. We've moved to a university community, maybe where we don't know anyone, or our friends now are our wife or our husband's friends, and there's some adjustment. Well, it's a nice thing to be a member of the Mormon Church under those circumstances, because in your ward and in your stake, there are going to be activities and people to get to know that are exactly your age, exactly the amount of kids that you have, exactly the learning about diapering and being up all night with a ear infection child and bladder infections on kids and diapers, and oh my God, it goes on and on. So there's one positive thing right there, that as you become displaced from your usual social group, you're automatically into a new social group. Now, I'll make more specific comments, but this is generally the real positive thing about the Mormon Church. If you can't make friends, if you're a little bit awkward socially, you don't know how to dance, you don't know how to cook, you don't know how to sew, you don't know how to public speak, then the Mormon Church may be for you. They're very strong in those areas of domestication. Now, where you have to be careful is they won't say it. But again, I've warned you over and over again, don't listen to what they say. Look at what they do. Women should be barefoot in the kitchen and pregnant in the Mormon Church. Now, they've moved a little bit away from that philosophy in the last 10, 15 years because of the economy and because of tithing. See, they want that tithing from two-income families. So they backed away from enslaving women as much as they did. But certainly they are second-class citizens in the Mormon Church. The other thing is that if you have teenagers and you're afraid of them getting pregnant and getting drunk and being on drugs and having friends with tattoos in their ears and skinheads and whatever, and you're not real confident, and most of us weren't. The first families we raised, we weren't confident. There's no handbook. It's nice to have activities, scouting and barbecues and overnights and father and son outings and daddy and daughter dances, or daddy and daughter dances, yeah. Gold and green balls, that's what they used to be called years ago in the Mormon Church. Now there's just regular Halloween dances or Christmas or Thanksgiving dances. So you have an automatic entire social system. You're told what to say, what to eat, how to act, how to dress, what underwear to wear, where you're to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You are basically told, the kinds of houses that are appropriate and how to get up in a public meeting and speak. You're told basically what to say. If you deviate from the conservative Mormon script and the constant regurgitation of sentences and words, you won't be asked to talk anymore. But if you get up there and parrot what you've been told to say subliminally over 18 years or however long you've been there, you're going to learn a little bit about public speaking and how to organize and adjust the microphone. And you won't know anything about teleprompters. That's saved for prophets and general conference. But the kids do get to go to scouting. They do get to have some activities. And there are some very, very dedicated LDS moms and dads who are like the PTA. They are kind of in charge of the ward, and they have fun activities, and the kids really enjoy that. The sad part about those kinds of activities is they always start with an opening prayer. And they always have usually an opening song. And they always have a closing prayer and a closing song. And many of the fun things that a child can do in scouting, you can't do basically in Mormon scouting, because there's certain standards of things you say and things you don't say. So let me just kind of pull it all together here, that there are many positive social stratification and stereotyping, and you don't have to work on making friends. You don't have to work on having a select group. You can find a dentist who will give you a deal, an attorney who will cut you some slack or free advice. You will sit beside judges in a LDS sacrament meeting, and you may be a truck driver. Well, where else are you going to ever get to sit between judges? So there's prestige, there's some status, there's some inner workings on the weaknesses we all have as human beings. If we're a little bit awkward, a little bit social, a little bit self-conscious, a little bit wanting to improve ourselves but don't have any kind of a vehicle to do that, the Mormon Church, that's something positive about the Mormon Church. Now, with everything, there comes a cost. Once you're into that cult and caste system, it is very hard to extract yourself. And pretty soon, we didn't pay. We didn't pay to make friends and learn the consequences of social blunders and embarrassments, and so we're stuck. We're stuck. And that's what the cult depends upon, is that when I came out, I didn't know how to act in real public. I didn't know what to say. If I'm not talking to a Mormon, there's no reason to talk. If we're not talking about general conference talks or what the Relief Society president said, or next Sunday is conference day, we didn't know what to say. That's tough. You spend 50 years in a cult and then try to come out in the real world, you'll find out that there's boundaries out here. There's things that you don't say, and there's things you don't do. In the real world, in the Mormon Church, you can pretty much do anything you want, say anything you want, and as long as the authorities accept it, you're okay. So there's youth programs and scouting, which are positive things in the Mormon Church, but they don't come without cost. Learning to public speak and stand up in front of groups. You get plenty of opportunities to do that in the Mormon Church from a very young age. You're told what to say. You're not allowed to independently think or put together a talk. You're not allowed to use the internet for teaching any concepts or supporting ideas in the Mormon Church. There's also opportunity for service. Now, this is a two-edged sword, and one side of the sword is a little sharper on the church's side than it is on your side. The church owns farms, and they own canneries where they can the vegetables and the fruits in the fields that they own on the trees that we pick off. The volunteers of the church pick off, but it's not called volunteers, it's called a service project. So when you hear the words in your Sunday meeting that there's a service project this Saturday, you know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be picking oranges, or you're going to be picking apples, or you're going to be hoeing weeds out of a local community area, or that you're going to be doing something at a chapel somewhere. And so if you're really into service, this is an opportunity to be service oriented. However, the Mormon Church takes a real advantage of its members with this service idea. Let me give you an example. Here in the last 3 or 4 months, and this is, oh God, what is it, October 3rd or 4th here in 2011, the Mormon Church just fired all of its janitorial staff that used to clean their restrooms and buildings, temples, stake offices, and church office building, etc. Well, they say they're doing this to give the members an opportunity for more service. Let me tell you why they're doing it. They're out of money. They just sold 35,000 acres to Kennecott Copper here that they've been holding for years and years in the Salt Lake Valley to raise money. They just sold, in the last 3 or 4 months, 500 radio stations and TV stations to raise money. And they've had a hiring freeze at BYU and BYU Idaho. Beneficial life insurance company owned by the Mormon Church went bankrupt after the Mormon Church pumped $500 million into that life insurance company. It still went bankrupt. Deseret News is not the main newspaper anymore in Salt Lake City area. The subscriptions are way down, and all they do is report basically Mormon news, and most of us want to hear real news. And the Deseret News closed down its building and had to move over to another facility, and they fired 80 people, and the church office building just fired about 100 people with no notice. But they did give a 2-cent raise per hour to some of their employees down in, I believe it's in the Manti area. So you can live on that for sure. So here's this service opportunity and service project that now you can clean the toilets. Someone is going to call you in your ward and say, you know, Brother Smith, would you please come this Saturday from 10 to 4, and we're going to do some vacuuming and cleaning the windows, and you're going to clean the men's restroom, and your wife is going to clean, and your kids are going to clean the ladies' room. Well, again, if that floats your boat, God, get on it. To me, it was the Titanic. That's the boat. When I was on the Mormon boat, I looked over the side of it and saw the words, the Titanic, and I got off of it. If you're a Mormon and you enjoy cleaning toilets for free, and you let the general authorities have 6-figure incomes, you don't let them or make them report where they spend your money. They can buy a $4 billion mall with your money. The Mormon Church doesn't have any money except tithe payer monies. Take a look at it. Lorenzo Snow almost went bankrupt as the prophet of the Mormon Church. They had no money when Lorenzo Snow instituted tithing for the Mormon Church. So any money that is out there, whether it's invested or whether it is in farms or cattle or malls, it's tithing money. Don't fool yourself. It's tithing money. There's no money in the Mormon Church except tithing money, and it started with Lorenzo Snow. You don't believe me? So what? Anyway, this service is an opportunity, I guess, but they overdo it. You're cleaning bathrooms, you're mowing lawns. I remember we mowed the lawn when we were members of the Riverside Ward years ago. We had our lawnmower, my dad and I, out mowing this huge lawn on a hot summer day, and my mower threw a rod and came right out the side of the lawnmower and burned a hole in the grass. So we didn't get reimbursed on that, by the way. So there's places they go on bus trips and charter trips, and they go to always historical places that have to do with Mormons. They don't really go anywhere else. They have parties. They have a lot of potluck parties. Many of the members are poor. Many of them don't have enough money. They eat a lot of, it's a big joke that they eat a lot of green jello. And they all get together, and you know, you bring the salad or you bring the dessert, and other people. The holidays basically suck in the Mormon Church. They don't believe pretty much in Halloween. That's kind of gone by the wayside these last years because so much of the American society does celebrate Halloween. So I just want to summarize here that basically there are some good things about the Mormon Church, but they're far and few between, and when you measure what the cost of having them is, it's way too expensive. Thank you.